SpaceX Starbase Tour. What is inside? Boca Chica in South Texas is the location for everything related to SpaceX Starship development, testing, and space exploration venture. It's a spot that stands apart from the rest of Texas and, should we say, the rest of the world. Elon Musk and SpaceX opted to use this area to isolate the firm from the main metropolis in order to prevent industrial pollution and any risks that may endanger human health and freedom. It's not that the SpaceX corporate Starbase doesn't have a community. It does, but just a few people live nearby. Engineer Elon Musk gave a 2-hour tour of the Starbase facility, where everything about the Starship rocket is built. Musk took a tour around the Starbase with an American science communicator and a YouTuber known as Everyday Astronaut Tim Dodd. We will share everything Elon Musk showed Tim Dodd on their visit of SpaceX's Boca Chica Starbase in this video. This is TechSpace. If you're new here, we specially invite you to join many of our lovely fans. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. It motivates us to produce more fantastic content like this, and you'll have a lifetime access to all of our high-end tech videos. Musk and Tim covered roughly 4 places throughout their tour around the company, and we'll go over each one by one. Without further ado, let us get down to the business of the day. The video released by SpaceX shows numerous instances of the Starship, either within the hangars and taken apart, or on the launch pad, and even in the air doing the necessary maneuvers or tests to land safely. It's nothing new, but it's a montage worth of a short glance. Brand new rocket facilities near a small beachfront community that has previously been uninterested in all things space. Hundreds of workers are hurrying around industrial locations in order to fulfill the most recent deadlines. Heavy machinery noises, radio chatter from hip-mounted radios, and trucks carefully traversing potholed roads evocative of the lunar landscape. On launch days, there's even the rare explosion that shatters a test vehicle into a million pieces. All of these may seem familiar to some, like a flashback to Florida's Space Coast in the 1960s, when thousands flocked to communities like Cocoa Beach and Cape Canaveral to help bring the Apollo program into fruition. However, this isn't Florida. Musk and his team are constructing, testing, and launching the Starship system, a 2-stage stainless steel spacecraft that will be the future of his company. There are security guards and gates, but no one prevents interested visitors from walking over to get a closer look at Starship and its super heavy booster, both of which stand about 400 feet in height and were being assembled. The anticipated 16 million pounds of liftoff force is more than double that of the classic Saturn V rocket from the Apollo era. Elon Musk and Tim have stood in front of a taller Booster 4 rocket as Musk discusses the overall weight of the rocket. According to Elon Musk, the super heavy rocket would undoubtedly use 29 to 33 Raptor engines, and there will be sensors hanging all around it. Musk showed Tim the pins dangling from the super heavy, explaining that the pins function as hooks for points that will be picked up by the Mechazilla catcher. Musk also stated that the 29 engines implanted beneath the Booster 4 rocket weigh 59 tons, while the fuel tank and oxygen tanks weigh 80 tons each. Musk also adds that the upper portion of the Booster 4 rocket, on which the first stage Starship is mounted, comprises grid fins and batteries weighing 20 tons. Elon Musk, the space inventor, believes that the total weight of the rocket will be around 3,600 tons. This weight estimate is calculated after all of the components are completely assembled on the Starship and ready for liftoff. Musk also discussed the electrically driven battery, which allows the grid fins to work in 2 minutes during landing. Musk referred to these batteries as energy optimized rather than power optimized. The CEO is pleased with the use of oxygen as the primary combustible fluid in the rocket, since it is denser and less expensive, as well as in terms of enhancing payload and lowering cost per ton. The tour lasted 1.5 minutes. From the clips of SpaceX's Starbase facility in Texas, but more than enough time for most of us to get a sense of what the not-so-distant future might look like. Starbase is the name given by the private space company to the little area near Boca Chica from where the Starship prototypes were launched all year. It's also where, according to SpaceX, the future exploration of Mars with actual humans transported there will begin. The region includes the build site, which is where the Starships are assembled, and it consists of the 3 production tents as they are known, many bays to test the final components, and the launch complex, which has 2 launch sites for suborbital and orbital flight. Elon will be remembered for generations to come. What else would a man desire to live on Earth for? It's not to be super wealthy and be remembered for his deeds when he was alive. Musk got it all. He is enthusiastic about what he does. Every other CEO on this planet Earth would wear a suit and tie and speak from behind a desk. desk. He is just wearing a black t-shirt and talking like any other man in a pub with a friend. His company is valued nearly billions of dollars, and he is working on a genuine means to travel to Mars in a comfortable Starship. This he does so quickly, and he wanders around the space barking like a dog as if it were his backyard. Amazingly simple but complex. Thanks to Elon for being such a great man, no snob, doing rocket science with curiosity and will, just like any other enthusiastic individual that loves his profession and has everything running through his veins. This is definitely a very exciting time because we are in a kind of final push to complete the launch system, stage 0 essentially, Musk told Dodd. From Musk's intents, he needs people to understand that rocket design is not the hardest part of the process. He said the most difficult hurdle is trying to manufacture each part in a cost-friendly way. According to his words, humanity will be a multi-planet species if we get the cost per ton to orbit to a point where we can afford to become a space race civilization and a multi-planetary species. The Starbase's toughest test, however, is still to come. That will be the launch of the orbital, the rocket's largest, meanest, and most capable form, the one that will really attempt to reach space. Dodd inquired about Musk's thoughts on the Starship's thermal protection system, TPS, to which Musk replied, "We'll find out." He also stated that the TPS tiles had performed admirably throughout the suborbital flight testing. Each tile is mechanically fastened in such a way that it may move a tiny amount without being harmed. During the expanding and contracting of the tank, the tiles during the temperature fluctuations, fueling, and re-entry. Starship's TPS tiles are now manufactured in the bakery in Florida. While not all of the tiles are uniform, SpaceX can mass produce them since they are mostly the same shape and size, giving it a considerable advantage over the Space Shuttle's TPS system. Most importantly, Musk stated that the tile's lifespan has no relevant limits. Musk noted that the flap hinges are the most difficult sections of the Starship to protect from re-entry heating. It is difficult to ensure that hot plasma does not enter the hinges and harm the vehicle, since the seal must not damage the tiles whilst also surviving the heat of re-entry. This necessitates the use of a metal seal. S-20's dry mass with a complete heat shield will ideally not be much more than 100 tons. Musk stated that adding 1 ton to the spacecraft reduces payload capacity by around 2 tons. That is, after accounting for the additional mass and propellant required. Let's now revisit Musk's thoughts about the Starship separation system and attitude control. Following Musk's 5-step strategy, SpaceX has opted to eliminate the pushing separation technology from Starship and instead depend on angular momentum conservation to separate the stages. Super Heavy will gimbal its engines just before main engine cutoff, causing the vehicle to begin spinning. The latches between the Starship and the Super Heavy will then be released, enabling the spacecraft to float apart. This is identical to how SpaceX deploys the Starlink satellites. This serves 2 purposes. One is to separate the stages, whilst also initiating the booster's flip, which is required for the boost return burn. In addition, SpaceX has decided to remove the dedicated hot gas thrusters from Super Heavy. To replace it, SpaceX will use the ullage gas from the tanks for attitude control via 4 90-degree apart vents. They will be able to regulate the attitude of the booster during the flip by venting the tanks through these valves. This offers the advantage of utilizing ullage gas, which would otherwise have to be vented to perform valuable work on the vehicle. Which departments of Starbase would you like to visit as a SpaceX enthusiast? Please do well to share your thoughts in the comment section below. Until next time, please like, share, subscribe, and whilst you're still around, why don't you click on one of those flashing videos on the screen for more content.